Oh, honey, you really think you've heard every single story about Meghan Markle? Think again, because this one doesn't just bend the royal fairy tale, it turns the whole thing upside down. Just when everyone assumed her glittering Paris Fashion Week appearance would be her iconic "I'm back, world" moment, boom, a bombshell interview drops, and suddenly people are leaning in, whispering, "Wait, who actually paid for that glamorous trip?" And babes, the answer wasn't the kind of royalty anyone was ready to hear. We're talking cold, undeniable receipts, hushed whispers in powerful places, and a level of palace outrage loud enough to make the chandeliers at Buckingham Palace tremble. Paris was supposed to be her shining stage, her sparkling comeback, her way of declaring, "I don't need a crown to own the spotlight." Stepping out not as the Duchess who walked away, but as Hollywood's perfectly polished queen. But behind that flawless smile and designer glow, something wasn't quite aligning. The whispers didn't come from tabloids, but from deep inside Balenciaga, and their tone was icy. There had been no grand invitation. She wasn't summoned by the House of Balenciaga. She reached out to them. It began with a few carefully sweet DMs to creative director Demna Gvasalia, laced with compliments and emojis, seemingly harmless. Then, just before Fashion Week, she casually dropped a line, "I'll be in Paris, would love to stop by the show." It sounded innocent, effortless, even friendly. But that stop by turned into her sweeping across the red carpet like a front row VIP. Behind the scenes, the brand scrambled to make it work. Paparazzi were conveniently tipped off, and in a flash, ta-da! Meghan Markle, radiant and media-ready, owned Paris with no invite, no official collab, no payment from Balenciaga, just her, the flashbulbs, the buzzing PR machine, and a trail of fairy dust that felt more like a master plan than coincidence. Ugh, darling, because it absolutely is. And here's where the plot thickens fast. Flying halfway across the globe for a self-made spotlight moment isn't exactly cheap. And while Meghan's camp wanted the world to believe she funded the Paris trip herself, whispers behind the velvet ropes painted a different story. Insiders quietly claimed the money may have come from charity funds meant for veterans and community programs through Archwell and the Invictus Games, covering first-class tickets, 5-star suites, glam prep, and the full luxury package. When Prince Harry found out, he was furious. This wasn't a royal event or a family trip, it was a solo PR operation in couture disguise, and he hadn't even been clued in about how it was financed. He saw the headlines, the carefully staged photos, and realized she'd crafted a fairy tale using the family's charitable image as a halo. Meghan flew first class with her longtime confidant, Marcus Anderson, while her team sat in coach, looking every inch the Hollywood princess, while behind the scenes, it was pure strategy. Her glam team worked overtime, PR handlers drafted statements that hinted at a Balenciaga collab without ever confirming it, and the media devoured the illusion. Headlines screamed her name, the brand stayed silent, and when the truth leaked that she'd paid her own way and was never officially invited, the press simply hushed. No corrections, no clarifications, just an image already burned into the spotlight. Paris wasn't a Fashion Week cameo, it was a calculated illusion, a PR sleight of hand in designer heels. And honestly, it wasn't her first time. She's pulled this playbook before. Just think of that explosive British Vogue cover that shook the fashion world.
The Duchess of Sussex stepping in as guest editor for Vogue sounded like a royal coup. Glamorous, exclusive, powerful. But then came the twist. Its editor, Edward Enninful, revealed she had in fact invited herself. He explained that Meghan called him under the guise of talking charity, and when he arrived at Kensington Palace expecting pleasantries, she casually dropped her plan. So, what if I guest ed the next issue? Picture it. The Duchess sitting across, poised and radiant, her charm and aura filling the room. Who could possibly say no? That's Meghan's magic. She doesn't wait for doors to open. She strides through as if she built the walls. But this same bold script played out in a different city. Paris became the sequel, Meghan Markle's Fashion Week chapter. Only this time, the royal glow dimmed because it wasn't the Duchess of Sussex commanding the stage. It was Meghan funding her own fantasy. And that's when the cracks began to surface. Pier Paolo Piccioli, the creative director she'd been messaging, reportedly spilled that she had, once again, invited herself. Balenciaga hadn't planned to seat her, feature her, or dress her. But honestly, who says no to a former royal? So they agreed, politely, but on her dime. No private jet, no stylist on payroll, no official campaign. Even the gown was borrowed, not made for her. Zoom in on those photos. The sleeves drag slightly, the waist sits just a little high. It's not couture, it's loner. Even the black stilettos were returned after the night like a rental. For someone who once lived in palaces, it was a sobering shift. A brand that might once have paid her appearance fee now sent her the bill. Behind the scenes, Balenciaga's PR scrambled as people assumed they'd endorsed her, something they couldn't risk amid their own controversies. So they quietly backed away. No official mentions, no reposts, just subtle distancing. Because in truth, this wasn't their show. It was hers alone. But here's where it stings. Paris isn't just any city in royal lore. It carries heavy shadows, forever tied to Diana, Princess of Wales, and the night her story ended. Paris, a city Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, had long vowed to approach with the weight of memory, was supposed to be off limits, a place too sacred, too soaked in sorrow. Even Meghan had reportedly told friends she'd never go there, that it was too painful. Yet she appeared beneath those glittering Parisian lights, smiling, posing, glowing on the very streets where tragedy once shattered the royal world. To some, it looked like a calculated power play, a silent statement wrapped in couture, as if she were saying, "I go where I want. No rules, no ghosts, no royal chains." But for Harry, insiders whispered, it pierced deeper than any headline. Paris isn't just geography for him, it's his mother's shadow. Watching Meghan bask in flashbulbs felt like old pain magnified in high definition. Some believe it was quiet revenge, her way of saying, "You sideline me in Santa Barbara, watch me shine in Paris." Others called it defiance, the mark of a woman who refuses to live in anyone's shadow, not even Diana, Princess of Wales. Whatever her reason, one thing was clear. Paris wasn't just fashion, it was a message, and the palace heard it loud and clear. The twist, though, is what gives the glitter a haunting edge. Decades earlier, Diana had walked into a leprosy ward, removed her gloves, and touched those the world had turned away from. 5 minutes that shattered stigma. That was grace. That was legacy. Years later, Meghan stepped into Paris not to heal, but to reclaim, to rebrand, to remind the world of her relevance. It isn't about who's better or worse, it's about intention. Diana used her platform to lift others. Meghan, some say, lifted her image. And that's why this story cuts deep. The same city that took Diana became the stage where Meghan tried to resurrect her narrative. But here's the sting, darling. Her story isn't finished. She's still out there, rebuilding, reshaping, reaching for the next spotlight. Love her or hate her, she's relentless. And maybe that's the real legacy of Paris. Not a triumph or a fall, but a mirror reflecting two women, two paths, two legacies. One carved by compassion, one driven by ambition. You can borrow the dress, buy the ticket, and pose for every camera, but legacy, sweetie, is the one thing you can't rent.